Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo De Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Denise Tan, and in tonight's Game Plan, we'll get a preview of the upcoming window of Gilas Pilipinas in the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers.
And we'll hear some courtside stories about the UST Growling Tigers, the De La Salle Green Archers, and the UE Red Warriors in the UAAP Season 85 Men's Basketball Tournament. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Gilas Pilipinas is gearing up for the final window of the year in the FIBA Basketball World Cup Asian qualifiers. Joining us tonight to break down what to expect in the upcoming window is former Gilas Pilipinas guard L.A. Tenorio. L.A., kamusta ka naman?
Hi, good evening, Pao. Good evening, Denise.
Hi, good evening,
Good evening
LA.
to all the viewers.
Yes, good evening, L.A. L.A., so the lineup came out a while ago at for some reason, I can't believe I'm saying this, ang laki na natin as a lineup. Ange Kouame, you have Kai Soto, part of it. Ano yung initial thoughts mo sa roster natin?
Well, it's a well-balanced team, actually, no? Compare sa mga last lineup natin. Actually, wala pa nga si Junmar dyan eh. Diba, injured pa si Junmar. So, if nandiyan si Junmar, so ang laki ng lineup natin. And I think yan yung kailangan talaga, especially sa international. And I'm sure the coaching staff, of course, nakapag-scout sila after the Jordan game, the last window. Siyempre, may mga may mga strategy na yan with this lineup against the Jordan team na kakalabanin ulit nila this later this evening.
Ellie, very promising yung mga pangalan na binanggit ni Pao. Of course, Kai Soto, Ange Kouame. But what do you think of the lineup, especially since nandyan ulit Japeth Aguilar, Scottie Thompson, Jamie Malonzo, and you've been playing with these players at alam mo what they can bring to the table?
Okay lang maging biased, L.A.
Oo. Siya ka
Parang
kanina
ganun
bias
na-
eh.
Parang ganun yung tanong ni Denise, no? Kaya mag-bias ako. Well, honestly, I'm very excited to see my three teammates, no, to compete internationally. You know, actually, they are part of our starting lineup, and isa sila sa mga main guys namin ngayon. Tatlo sila na main guys namin sa team. So I'm really excited to see them play internationally, especially against Jordan, who is really, I think, one of the favorites ngayon sa Asia qualifier, di ba?
Yeah.
Sure, actually, surprisingly, no. So I'm very excited. I'm sure Japeth will. Niloloko ko nga si Japeth. Japeth is, I think, the oldest now sa Gilas team, di ba? And before, when I was playing Gilas, he was one of the youngest. But now I was telling Japeth na you really have to lead by example ngayon dun sa team natin ngayon, especially with Jamie na Scottie na kulang or hindi pa ganun ka-taas ang experience sa international competition. I think that's the hindi naman problem, but that's the disadvantage of the team right now. It's practically, new to the international competition. No? Wala masyadong experience international competition-wise. So talagang, I think yun yung kailangan. Actually, ito yung kailangan din natin mga games, no, na experience to be ready for the World Cup.
Na-mention mo kanina, Jordan is actually 3-3 and number 4 behind the Philippines sa rankings for this particular group. At napaka-importante to for Jordan. It'll be in their home court as well. Pero it's interesting na na-mention mo yan, LA, that very inexperienced yung team na to. But then this is actually their second window as, a majority of this group coming together. Sa palagay mo ba, we're going to see a more fluid Gilas team this time around? Because it's not like before na it was going to be probably the first time a bunch of these guys actually played together. Pero ngayon, after one window together, this window, will we see something a bit more smooth?
Well, we're expecting, no, na medyo mas organized this time around, no. But again, there are a lot of players in the lineup na hindi nakasama sa practice every Monday. We have Kai Soto, we have the Billy Boys, diba? So, and then of course the problem of the injuries. So, but again, we're expecting more smoother kasi nga na kalaban na nila yung Jordan before, and I'm sure the coaching staff has really for sure worked hard to have a good plan and smoother play this game against Lebanon.
Ellie, na-mention mo na, no, yung practice session. So, in the middle of September, they were practicing once a week, every Monday, like what you mentioned. But they were able to ramp that up towards October and November. How beneficial was that for you and sa tingin mo para dito sa mga members ng Gilas ngayon?
You know what? This is the same, actually exactly the same situation that we had before, no? We had every Monday practice session talaga. And malaking bagay yun. Actually, napakalaking bagay. Yun nga lang, unfortunately, syempre may mga players na hindi nakaka-attend because of, yung mga ginagawa nila sa B-League, kay Kai sa Australia, and then of course the injuries, di ba, here and there. So, but yung every Monday practice ay napakalaking bagay talaga niyan. And I'm sure if magko-continue yan even after this window until the World Cup, I think mas makikita natin yung talagang takbo ng Gilas Pilipinas, no? We can see the smooth running ng system talaga na gustong patakboyin ni Coach Chot for this team. And for now kasi parang syempre nangyayari kasi kung sinong available for this window because of the injuries nga. But looking at the bigger picture, which is alam ko yun yung plan ng coaching staff, malaking bagay itong every Monday session na ginagawa nila.
Ellie, may konting bonus question para sa'yo because you mentioned Coach Chot. And I found it interesting kasi I lost count of how many championships are in that Gilas Pilipinas coaching staff. Coach Jong Wichico, Coach Tim Cone, si Coach Chot Reyes. Grabe talaga. When you look at that type of coaching staff, sa palagay mo ba there also is going to be a bit of development sa chemistry nila? Because there are so many great minds in that particular group. At syempre, I am sure that there's still going to be a bit of practice in trying to make sure the ideas come out strongly para sa team.
Yeah, but nagsama na si Coach Jong and Coach Chot was part of our Gilas Pilipinas 2014, 2012 to 2015 or 2014, and then Coach Chot and Coach Tim, sobrang close friends sila and matagal sila nagsama rin as a coaches. So the combination of the coaches that we have right now in the Gilas Pilipinas, if I'm part of the national team right now, I am sobrang magiging excited talaga ako, and I'm really looking forward to play kasi nga alam ko na marami akong matututunan with this experience alone, no?
Grabe, a lot of voices to listen to there, as you mentioned, LA. Pero syempre, who are you most excited to see in this particular window? I know you can be biased, you probably will be biased, especially seeing Japet taking up the leadership role. Pero you look at the rosters, you look at the lineup, who do you think is someone that you are looking to have a special night?
Honestly, I'm looking at our guards, who will play the point position. Of course, there's Scotty Thompson already who will for sure play the point position, but who will be the next point guard for this team? Alam natin na kulang talaga ang point guard. So it's very interesting to see kung anong gagawin nila kasi they might do different system. That's why they don't have a legit point guard, di ba? So yun yung interested, parang looking forward to see kung ano yung gagawin nila. Kasi the way I look at it, CJ Perez can play point guard or they play multiple positions. So yun yung I'm looking forward to see sa system na to ni Coach Chot.
LA, maraming salamat. Thank you very much for your time. And for all the Gilas fans out there, the matchup against Jordan will be later on at midnight, and we'll hope to see you tune in then. Thank you very much, LA.
Thanks, LA.
Thank you.
Now, we've got more Gilas Pilipinas because after the break, we'll get an inside look at the national team's preparation ahead of their first game in the FIBA Basketball World Cup Asian Qualifiers 5th window. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Gilas Pilipinas is gearing up for the 5th window of the FIBA Basketball World Cup Asian qualifiers as they prepare to battle Jordan and Saudi Arabia in 2 road games. Thirteen players made the trip, with the PBA represented by CJ Perez of San Miguel Beer, Scotty Thompson, Japet Aguilar, and Jamie Malonzo of Barangay Ginebra, and RR Pogoy, Calvin of Tana, and JP Aram of TNT. 2 UAAP athletes in LaSalle's Kevin Kiambao and Ateneo's Ange Kwame also made a trip alongside B-League players in 30 Ravenna, Ray Parks, and Dwight Ramos. Kai Soto of the Adelaide 36ers met the team at the airport in Jordan. It took Gilas almost an entire day to get to Jordan from Manila. Because of the time difference, the team practiced at 8 p.m. local after arriving, which was already 1 a.m. Manila time, but they needed to immediately adjust their body clocks with only 2 full days of preparation here. Even if they were still a little road weary and still suffering from lack of sleep, Gilas put in good work on their first practice here in Amman, Jordan, to build the foundation for their performance this window.
Go, Laban Pilipinas! Go!
Among the national team's veterans looking to make their country proud is Gilas mainstay Japet Aguilar. Let's take a look at the 7-time PBA champion's mindset for the 5th window.
Japet Aguilar thought that he was already done playing for Gilas Pilipinas. An original member of Smart Gilas 1, there may be no Filipino player in this generation who has played more games for the national team. After the 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup, Aguilar assumed that was the end for him. However, his retirement from Gilas would be short-lived. Still, with not enough bigs, the national team needed Aguilar to put on the country's colors once again, and he did not hesitate one bit.
Kailangan din ng bodies kasi parang yun nga, na-hurt si Junmar, tapos ayun nga, yung next possible option parang kasi ilan lang kami na bigs sa Pilipinas. So, thankful naman healthy naman, tapos yun, condition.
The lanky Barangay Ginebra player has more responsibilities now compared to before. He's married, he has a son, so long stints out of the country are now more difficult. Aguilar knows that his family would appreciate his presence, but he can't turn his back on the country, at least not yet.
Totoo, nakikita ko yung mga generation na dumarating sa Philippines, nagiging yung level ba tumataas. Ako kung ano lang ang maitutulong ko, tama ka doon kung anong pwede kong maitulong sa kanila. At the same time, marami rin akong natututunan sa kanila. So, yung sa akin lang, ready lang ako pag ginamit ako ni Coach John. Yun nga, sa minutes na ibibigay niya sa akin, gusto ko makatulong sa team.
At 35 years of age, there's still no doubt that Aguilar is the top power forward for Gilas. If he stays healthy, he will be making his 3rd straight World Cup stint, something that only he and Junmar Fajardo may be able to accomplish.
You know, sa experience ko sa Gilas, ang daming ups and downs, daming heartaches and stuff. Pero yun, isa sa hindi ko pinagsisihan talaga yung pagsali ko sa national team. Although we seem na we take a step back, pero yung totoo, may progress naman talaga yung Philippine basketball. Thankful lang ako kay God na panatili niyang healthy yung katawan ko. Although, lingid sa kaalaman ng iba, marami na akong mga naging health issues na nakaraan. Siguro dala na rin sa Father Time is undefeated nga, parang ganun. So, Pero thankful pa rin ako at least kahit paano. Na-maintain ko na lang yung athleticism ko. Kasi whether you like it or not, everyone na went through it at Father Times undefeated. So, yun, thankful lang ako kay God.
Aguilar is arguably the most athletic homegrown basketball player in the country's history, and his unselfishness with his time and his talent should serve as an inspiration for the younger generation.
Don't forget to catch Gilas Pilipinas as they face off against Jordan for the start of the FIBA Basketball World Cup Asian Qualifiers 5th window. Tune in later at 12 midnight to support the national team live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, Smart Giga Play, and Signal Play. After the break, we'll find out why one student athlete could possibly be a king tiger in the making for UST. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back to The Game. While the UAAP basketball action hits the pause button for a few more days, let's get to know some stories about the athletes on and off the court. We have with us UAAP Season 85 correspondents Allison Ko, Kyla King-Su, and Marina Avellino reporting for UE, DLSU, and UST respectively. Good evening and welcome back to the show, girls.
Thank you for having us again.
Good evening. It's funny because our writers are not from the schools that you're representing, and they said, so let's talk about the last games for each of our schools. And unfortunately, talo tayong lahat. Okay? But on that note, I want to start off first with LaSalle. No bias din naman there. And of course, I want to talk about Evan Ali. A lot has been said about this guy. Positive, negative, a lot online as well. Pero, you get a chance to interact with him How is he like? How is he taking all of this? Because I'm sure he is observant. He knows what's happening around him.
Yeah, so Evan actually, he often gets a comment online that he's maangas or mayabang. I think it's from his interview answers or maybe his demeanor. But actually, he would describe himself as really goofy and makulit. And you know what? I actually agree with him. You know, from day one, he's always been the guy that I can easily approach and talk to. And speaking of Evan, he also steps up as a leader for the team. So he often tries to take off the pressure from the rookies, telling them that, you know, nobody plays a perfect game.
And you say that he's stepping up as a leader. Nakita nga natin yun, especially this season so far. But then, taking pressure off the rookies, what does that mean based on your conversations with him?
Yeah, so as you know, Evan had to skip some games. So other rookies had to step in for him, and you know there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's their first year, but he always tells them that you know you just have to keep learning from your mistakes and applying it in the next game.
Marina, I want to talk to you about Nick Cabanero. He had a really good performance in that last game against Adamson, 22 points. You know, he's such a young guy. Of course, madami siyang kasangga with the seniors as well. But people are telling me that he might be called the next King Tiger. What do you think about that?
Well, of course, Nick isn't King Tiger without the people around him.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, Brian Santos, Sharon Concepcion. They're not eligible to play anymore, but they always make sure to message him, to keep him humble and grounded. And even his teammates, they make sure to call him out. But that's to guide him to become like a King Tiger
Yeah.
on and off the court.
So you're saying that he actually is in contact with even those not in the team,
Yes.
pero yung
Yeah.
mga invested talaga.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Now, moving on to Allison. Syempre, UE doing better than LaSalle and UST in the standings, but also Luis Villegas, someone that we have to talk about here. Mr. Consistent in so many ways. Tell us a bit more about him.
Well, if there's one praise to describe Luis, he's just the answered prayer of the UE Red Warriors this season. And a lot of sports analysts would back me up on this. You know, season 85 has just been exceptional for the UE Red Warriors. You know, they've won for the first time after a 15-game losing skid. And you know, a lot of assistant coaches would joke around every after win and they would approach me and say, maybe you're the lucky charm of the team. Baka ikaw yung swerte. But as much as I get flattered by this compliment, you know, on a more serious note, it's not really about luck. It's not mere luck on why they're winning, right? It's really about a lot of players who are stepping up, and one of them is Luis Villegas.
Okay, go.
Number one, we go from answered prayer to the lucky charm. Kyla, Marina, kayo ba nasabihan na kayo ng gano'n, na lucky charm?
I mean,
Tignan mo kasi yung record nila, Denise.
Exactly! That's my point! That's my point!
Okay. Oh my goodness. I don't know where to go from here. Pero si Luis, his family's actually not here, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm sure that must be hard for him being away.
Well, you know, his family is in San Diego, California, where he grew up. But every game they would watch through, you know, the platforms. UAAP is now streaming internationally. So, you know, it's been a good platform. And Luis told me during the dugout that he's really stemming his inspiration from them. And he's a one-and-done Red Warrior. This is his first and last playing year. So he's really making it worth it for his family.
Yung gusto ko dito, memorize niya lahat mga plugs. Talking about Allison, of course. But of course, right now, Kyla, LaSalle, you know, you were there, unfortunately, for that loss against Ateneo. And a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen to them next. And you were there to hear what is being said in the locker, in the dugouts, in the huddles. Can you tell us a bit about the mood, especially after that? And, you know, where does LaSalle go from here?
Yeah, I think for the team, they see every setback as preparation for a satisfying comeback. And as Manong Derek said, we're in a hole that we've dug for ourselves right now. But the important thing is to keep climbing slowly but surely, and they'll get out of it.
Marina, I want to go back to our discussion about Nick. So, pinag-uusapan natin, diba? He's heard about the King Tiger moniker. I know for
She's
sure.
invested in this, by the way.
I am very much so. But the thing is, if you hear it so much, it's either you believe it or is he riding that wave? And what does he think about this whole thing, being praised that much?
I feel like for him, it's the expectations from the fans and the audience, especially with their standing. You know, he's expected to, you know, to play
At a
just so
different
they
level,
can,
yeah.
at a different level. So I guess as much as possible, he wants to
Live up to
exceed-
that, exceed it even.
yeah.
Absolutely. Mahirap talaga maging King Tiger, Denise. I am sure you know about it from your time there. Way back when, these girls were still in grade school when my partner was playing for UST. Ladies, maraming salamat. Alison Ko, Kyla King-Su, and Marina Avellino reporting for UE, DLSU, and UST. Good luck for the rest of the season, and you still have a long way to go. We can't wait to have you back on the show.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
All right, and to everybody watching at home, thank you for joining us. I'm Denise Tan.
And I'm Paolo Del Rosario. This has been The Game.